everyone, welcome to my craft corner. If you haven't been here before, I'm Heidi with Onigo Stamping. Thank you for joining me. Today I have an awesome card sketch to show you, and I'm going to show you how to make a card from it using the Flowers for Every Season Designer Series paper. This is a great 6x6 Designer Series paper pack that is full of florals and other designs. You are going to love it. Before I get started, if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be yours. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment or send me an email. I will do everything I can to help you. Otherwise, if you're looking for the dimensions for today's cards or you want to order something, all of the products, links, and dimensions can be found on my website, and the link to my website is in the description to this video. Lastly, if you like this video, make sure to leave it a thumbs up, give it a good comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right, Onigo, let's get stamping. I'm going to be using the Flowers for Every Season Designer Series paper and a card sketch to make a great card today. Before I get started though, I just wanted to show you the Flowers for Every Season suite and the Designer Series paper in the catalog because I don't have all of the paper anymore. It's all been used up. It's gone. I'm down to the very last bits. So I wanted to just give you a quick look at what it looks like in the catalog, and the stamp sets that go with it, right? Because it's a whole suite and it's just awesome. So you can see some different cards that they made with it. When you look at, and this is on page 10 and 11. When you go over to page 11, you can actually see the Designer Series paper, and this is a 6x6 inch Designer Series paper. That means you get 4 of each sheet, and there are 12 different double-sided designs, so total of 24 different designs on 2 sides of 12 different papers, and you get 4 of each of those. So there's a lot in there. With the suite, there's also, this is a mega suite, so there's also 2 stamp sets. There's the Jar of Flowers stamp set and the punch that goes with it. And then there's also the Celebrate Sunflower stamp set and the dies that go with those, as well as some embossing folders. So it's a really great suite, but I'm actually not going to be using any of that today. So I'm going to go ahead and put this away. And I'm going to be using the Designer Series paper and a card sketch. So let's look at the card sketch real quick. Here it is. I have just sketched it out for you. There's a much nicer sketch on my website, but I just wanted to show you what it looked like just sketched out, just like I sketched it before I get started. I love to use card sketches because they really help me make sure that the card is going to be balanced, right? And what's really fun is that you can make one and then make a bunch of different cards that all look very, very different, but follow the same sketch. So this is the sketch I'm going to be using today. I'm also going to be using the Merry Moose stamp set. So this stamp set it debuted last year in the holiday catalog, and it is going to be back in the 2020 August through December mini catalog as well. So it's coming back, as well as the little moose punch that matches it. So I'm going to be using that. And then I pulled out from the Designer Series paper, I pulled out this design that has this very I don't know, kind of winter look to it to me, just because it has pine, right? Pine boughs and pine branches. So to me, it looks kind of Christmassy. And then there's this other design that I've cut just a strip of, and it actually has poinsettias on it. So I'm going to use just a little bit of that too. You'll notice in the card sketch that there's the card base, and then there are 3 1/2-inch strips and a circle in the center. So here's my Designer Series paper, and I have cut this to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, I believe. Yep, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. And then I have 3 1/2-inch strip papers, and I've just left those extra long because we're actually going to cut them off. We're going to go ahead and glue them on our card front. So I'm going to start by with the poinsettia paper, which I'm actually going to put in the center. The other 2 will go on the outside. And I'm just going to glue that on at an angle. Just like that. And then I'm going to put these green. So there's a green, and it's got kind of a blue floral on the other side. I'm not going to use the blue floral. I'm going to use the green. And this is just jade, which is what our card base is going to be as well. And I'm just gonna go ahead and slide that right up next to my other strip. And then I'm gonna come in with another strip of that Just Jade pattern. And I'm gonna adhere that one as well. So just like that, quick and easy. Now I'm gonna come in with my paper snips. I'm gonna turn over my piece of paper, and I'm just gonna line the edge of my paper snips right up against my piece of Designer Series paper, and I'm just gonna snip off the ends of those strips. And that way they all match. Just like that. Get those out of the way. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the stamping. So I've cut 2 circles. One circle is Whisper White and the other is Just Jade. And I'm going to stamp with the pine tree from the Merry Moose stamp set, and I'm gonna stamp it with Just Jade. I'm gonna stamp it twice, but I'm only gonna ink it once. So I'm gonna ink it up, and I'm gonna stamp it once, and I'm gonna move it kind of down and over, and I'm gonna stamp it again. So there you get kind of 2 shades of the Just Jade. And now I'm gonna come in with the greeting that says, "Enjoy the stillness of the season," with the cinnamon cider ink. And I'm just gonna stamp that up here. So just like that, and hopefully, it could have been a little bit straighter, but it's okay. So I'm gonna adhere this circle to my Just Jade. Ooh, you can see that this was a piece of scrap that I had used from something else. I stamped something and I didn't like it. So just gonna reuse it. I'm gonna put that on my Just Jade circle. Ooh, and I had ink on my fingers. Now there's ink on my paper, but it's okay. And I actually, you know what? I want a little bit of my card front to show. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim off just a little bit. I'm gonna trim this down to 4 by 5 1/4. And then I'm gonna adhere this circle to the front of it. And then I kind of want to put a ribbon on here. So what I am going to do is I have some of this white crinkle ribbon, and I'm actually going to color it. So you can see I already started to color it. And I'm coloring it Poppy Parade, which is the red that's in those poinsettias. And I'm just coloring it with my Stampin' Blend. So I just take my Stampin' Blend, and this is how I got ink on my fingers. But anyway, take my Stampin' Blend and I just run it right along there. Just a little bit more. And that just makes it red. And what's really nice about this crinkled seam binding is that the Stampin' Blends dry on there really fast. Some of the other ribbon is a little bit more, I don't know, it's less porous or something. It takes a little bit longer to dry. And I was trying some of that, and that's how I got ink all over my fingers. Now you will notice that this is on an angle where I want to have my ribbon. And that's not going to work so well if I actually try to tie it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off a piece. And cut it just a little bit longer. And then I am just going to tape it. Okay, so I have some Scotch tape, and I'm just going to tape this on the back. So I have this kind of where I want it, down here at the bottom. And I'm just going to tape one side. And then I'm gonna pull it tight. And I'm gonna go ahead and tape the other side. Just like that, and that will hold it. Then I'm going to go ahead and make a little bow. Get it nice and tight. All right, beautiful little bow. The crinkle seam binding is so great for bow making. It's just so easy. Oops. Try to get my ribbon ends even. And then I'm just gonna take, so these are just mini glue dots, and these are just ones from the paper pumpkin kit. I like them, they're just in a sheet, so they're kind of easier to get there to than the ones from the box. So that's why I always pull them out first. But I'm just gonna stick it on there, and then I will just stick my bow where I want it to go. So just like that, I have a bow, and now I'm just gonna put this on a Just Jade card base. So it's just gonna go right on here, just like this. We have a quick and easy card using a card sketch. Let me show you some other examples using this exact same sketch. So we have a piece of paper, we have three strips on it. So here's one using kind of the same, some of the same papers. So I just kind of changed it in the same center image. So those are very similar one to the other. And then I have some that are very, very different. So let me set these aside and show you what else I have. So these ones are Magenta Madness. And here you can see I kind of made that center designer series paper skinnier, and I used some solid strips on the side. This one I covered the entire back with the designer series paper and then used cardstock strips again. And then finally, this last one, I used a just plain cardstock, and then I used the strips of designer series paper. So really quick and easy, fun cards. They all, have kind of the same feel to them, but this one even goes a different direction, right? So they're the same, but different. Thank you again for joining me today. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, send me an email. I'd love to help you out. However I can, whatever I can do to help you. You will find all of the dimensions and the supplies that I used today over on my website, so you can hop over there and find that. The link is in the description to my video. Thanks again for joining me. I'll see you next time.